There was a time when the idea seemed almost impossible. The global market for advanced fighter aircraft was dominated by a handful of established powers. American fighters filled the inventories of allied nations around the world. Russian aircraft carried decades of Cold War prestige. European manufacturers offered highly refined designs backed by generations of engineering experience. China, despite its growing industrial strength, was rarely mentioned in the same conversation. Yet today, one aircraft has helped change that perception more than any other. The J-10CE was not the largest fighter China ever built. It was not the most expensive. It was not designed to break speed records or capture headlines through revolutionary technology. Instead, it represented something much more important. It became proof that China could develop, refine, and export a modern combat aircraft capable of competing in one of the most demanding industries on Earth. What makes the story even more remarkable is that the J-10CE emerged from a period when many observers doubted whether China could ever challenge the traditional leaders of military aviation. Decades later, the aircraft would become a symbol of a changing world order in aerospace. But how did this fighter accomplish what so many believed was out of reach? To answer that question, we must return to the final years of the Cold War and the uncertain decade that followed. During the 1980s and early 1990s, military aviation was advancing at an extraordinary pace. Precision-guided weapons were becoming more effective. Digital avionics were replacing older analog systems. Radar technology was evolving rapidly. Air forces around the world were investing heavily in aircraft capable of fighting and surviving in increasingly complex environments. China understood that relying on older designs would eventually create a dangerous gap. Many aircraft in service were based on technologies that could trace their origins to earlier generations of aviation development. While they remained useful, they could not provide the level of capability needed for future conflicts. The challenge facing Chinese aerospace engineers was immense. Building a modern fighter requires mastery of countless technologies. Aerodynamics, radar systems, flight control computers, electronic warfare equipment, engine integration, weapons compatibility, and pilot workload management must all function together with extraordinary precision. Even nations with long aviation traditions often struggle to develop successful fighter programs. China's answer was the J-10 project. The aircraft represented years of research, testing, redesign, and investment. It was more than a military program. It became a national engineering challenge that would influence the future of the country's aerospace industry. When the original J-10 entered service, it marked a major step forward. But the aircraft would continue evolving. Engineers refined its systems, improved its sensors, upgraded its electronics, and expanded its capabilities. These improvements eventually led to the J-10C, the most advanced domestic version, and ultimately the export-oriented J-10CE. The export model incorporated modern avionics, advanced weapons integration, and features designed to meet international customer requirements. What made the J-10CE especially attractive was its balance. Many fighter aircraft achieve success through overwhelming performance in a single area. Some prioritize speed. Others emphasize payload capacity or extreme maneuverability. The J-10CE instead focused on providing a well-rounded combination of capabilities. It could conduct air defense missions, strike targets on the ground, carry precision-guided weapons, and operate in modern networked combat environments. At the heart of the aircraft lies one of its most important technological achievements: its AESA radar. Unlike older radar systems that physically move components to scan the sky, an active electronically scanned array radar can direct beams electronically at incredible speed. This allows pilots to track multiple targets simultaneously, detect threats more effectively, and operate in environments where electronic warfare plays a critical role. For modern fighter pilots, situational awareness can be as important as speed or maneuverability. The ability to see first, understand first, and react first often determines the outcome of an engagement. The J-10CE's radar and sensor suite were designed with precisely that reality in mind. Its distinctive appearance also reflects careful engineering decisions. The aircraft's canard delta wing configuration immediately catches the eye. Small forward control surfaces work together with the main wings to enhance maneuverability and control. This layout gives the aircraft impressive agility while maintaining stability across a wide range of flight conditions. To aviation enthusiasts, the silhouette is instantly recognizable. Yet despite these strengths, the aircraft faced a challenge that had little to do with engineering. For Pakistan, the aircraft provided access to advanced capabilities that aligned with modern operational requirements. It offered improved sensors, sophisticated weapons integration, and the flexibility expected from a contemporary multi-role fighter. For now, the aircraft occupies a unique position. It stands between the past and the future. It reflects decades of persistence, engineering effort, and national ambition. The story of the J-10CE reminds us that aviation history is rarely defined by a single breakthrough. More often, it is shaped by years of quiet determination, thousands of skilled individuals working behind the scenes, and the belief that a difficult goal is worth pursuing despite uncertainty. As the sun sets on another day of flight operations somewhere far from public attention, J-10CE aircraft continue their missions, carrying with them the hopes, lessons, and achievements of the people who built them. Their story remains unfinished, but their place in aviation history is already secure. If you enjoy thoughtful journeys through aviation history and the remarkable aircraft that shaped our world, consider subscribing for more stories that preserve the legacy of flight for future generations.